Hello and welcome to this review of my KeebSupply OXCB Elite macropad. This was a donation by KeebSupply along with the Zalp keyboard, which I teased recently. The unboxing for both isn't out yet at the time of filming, but you'll see it when it's there. I've done several of these macropads recently, and this one, apart from the single key ISO grrr, is by far the smallest, with just 8 keys on it, which means it's not really usable as a numpad like some of the others are. It's exclusively intended for macros. In fact, the term macropad might be stretching it. It's more of a micropad, really. Still, a small form factor has its uses as well from time to time. For me, it happened to be extremely useful as I programmed some keys for the DJing software I normally use into it. In case you didn't know, I occasionally produce melodic and ethereal techno sets. For example, D and L are play left and play right channel respectively, but these are normally very far apart and uncomfortable to hold your fingers on at the same time, even with relatively long fingers like mine, let alone for long periods of time. Similarly, Q and U, which are loop left and loop right respectively. Escape and enter are also very useful in this program. I couldn't find a single unit enter key very quickly, so I stuck this on, but maybe I'll correct it someday, because I'm pretty sure I've got a single unit enter key somewhere. I stuck on some thick OG Cherry POM keycaps and some Box Jades on it for maximum feedback. It didn't come with any keycaps or switches, but you can get a set of 8 blank DSA keycaps for $5.50. KeebSupply sell a bunch of keycaps and switches in general though, so you can customize it to your liking. It also comes with a really smooth, pushable rotary encoder on it, as well as a small OLED screen, and the whole thing, including the screen, is programmable. The keys can be done through VIA, which is nice and easy, but for the screen you'll have to resort to QMK, if you know how to. I hate QMK, so I didn't even bother to try and do this, but others more versed in programming should be able to do so. It also comes with LED underglow, and it changes to red when you engage caps lock, which is very cool. The bottom is semi-transparent and the whole housing is 3D printed with a technique called MJF, or multi-jet fusion, which is a more industrial way of printing. It's got a somewhat rough surface, but it's relatively strong, and indeed it feels quite tough despite being 3D printed. They used to do other types of printing as well, including a cheaper one and a smoother one, but I think they only do this MJF type nowadays, or at the very least it's the only one they have in stock right now. Now, I really like this thing, and I'm definitely going to keep using it for my DJing sessions because it just feels like it's absolutely made for that. But even this bare bones version costs €96, which is basically the same cost as the Keychron Q0 Max, which has a steel plate, full aluminium housing, and way more buttons on it. I mean, it doesn't have a screen, but as far as I can tell, this screen only displays what you want on it, and it isn't reactive or anything. There are some hidden games in it, but frankly I'm not going to buy a macropad or a screen for that. Now, because I don't need that many keys for my DJ software, this does just fine, and it takes up less space than the Q0 when not in use. But I find it hard to justify this price when you can also get this for it. And for less than half the price, you can get the EPO Maker Cypher 21 for it, which also doubles as a calculator. See, I figured 3D printing something like this should be able to keep the costs down, but it's not cheap enough for what it offers in my opinion. That said, it is still good, and I'm still very happy with it. That's it for this review. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and following is a sound test of me just pressing a few random buttons on this micropad.